good as these championships tonight. A lot of great fighters.
They should be some outstanding fights, Steve. We've got some kids that have been here before, and more than likely they'll do it again.
We have some fighters here too, Martin, who have had Olympic experience, World Cup games, that sort of thing.
That's right, Steve. We have here, as a matter of fact, Teddy Randolph, who was with the Olympic trials in 1988, and he'll be finals.
Sergio Reyes, that's a name many amateur boxers know.
Sergio is a fine bantamweight, and he should be here. He was a national champion last year and the Goodwill Games champion as well.
Let's talk a little bit about the scoring. What kind of scoring do they use in the Armed Forces Boxing Championships?
We're looking at points. We're looking at each punch that's landed cleanly with the white part of the glove counts for 1/3 of a point. You land 3 and you get 1 point over opponent. However, should he retaliate with 5 or 6 or 7 points or punches, he gets the point as well. So you're looking at a very closely contested match where just one punch can make the difference of winning and losing a round.
All right, Martin. He's talking, of course, about competition, Olympic style. The Armed Forces Sports Championships is a year-long competition of 13 sports between the men and women athletes of the Army, Navy, Marines, and Air Force. The games have been held annually since their inception in 1948. The program works within the philosophy of the 4 service branches to promote the qualities essential for combat readiness: physical fitness, unit morale, teamwork, and mental alertness. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Oh my, do we have a dandy. In the Bantamweight division, 119-pound class, we have Lance Corporal Sergio Reyes, 21-year-old from Fort Worth, Texas, going against PFC Antonio Orozco, a 22-year-old who is married with 2 children, by the way, is Orozco. And Reyes, tell us a little bit about him, Mark.
Well, I know Sergio's had over 300 fights as an amateur. I remember him when he was just a little 9, 10-year-old kid fighting out of Fort Worth. He'd come down to Waco, fight some of our guys from Austin, and he's just a little battler. He has no reverse gear. He'll come forward. He's not a boxer, Steve. This kid is a fighter, and you're going to see him just really put the pressure on this Army kid.
He has the advantage in experience, 304 wins, 18 losses. They touch gloves. We're ready to get this thing underway. Reyes representing the U.S. Marines, Orozco, the United States Army. The Army, of course, won up on the rest of the services after that first victory by Sergeant Byron Moore.
Looks like we have another southpaw up here, Steve. I don't believe that Sergio should have any trouble with him. He's fought plenty of southpaws in the past.
Reyes, by the way, wants to be a world champion professional boxer. He has all the tools. And Reyes wastes no time trying to back up the opponent, Orozco. Oh, a couple of vicious shots.
He's landing some good hooks there. He's going to start landing that right hand here pretty soon.
Orozco got loose with a right hand for a moment.
With a good right hand.
Boy, they're really going at it. Orozco doesn't seem intimidated at all by this world champion.
Not at all.
Reyes fighting for the Marines. He's in the red.
That was a good right hand by Reyes.
Orozco in the gold, fighting for the Army.
They're tangled up there. Steve, referee's going to break them.
Boy, the crowd loving this one. These two just came out and started firing away. They both have pretty good defense, too. Each has avoided some good shots.
Now, there's a good right hand with a left hand behind it.
Boy, Reyes just hit Orozco with a breadbasket shot that Orozco still hadn't recovered from.
You know, in actuality, Reyes' style is better suited for the pros. He is a successful amateur because of his aggressiveness, and you're going to see a lot more of it as he starts warming up. As you notice on him, Steve, he really doesn't look very warmed up. There's no sweat on his body. He just landed a good shot there, Steve.
Had Orozco in the ropes for a moment. Orozco still fighting back.
Another good right hand from Reyes.
Boy, that wobbled Orozco a little bit. Lance Corporal Sergio Reyes of the Marines. Two trading punches here in the center of the ring.
Orozco's doing some pretty good work on the inside, Steve, but Reyes just landed a good left hook there.
Seems like just when Orozco tries to take the offensive, Reyes has an answer for him.
Well, Steve, you know, a lot of the amateur matches, when a fight is real close or a round is real close, the judges will base their decision on who won that round by the effective aggressor. And right now, you couldn't say either one of them was an effective aggressor because they're both in there banging away solidly.
Reyes connecting with a few more telling punches, but Orozco getting in a lot of punches and doing some damage as well. This has been
good
a
right hand by
first
Reyes.
round.
Another good right hand by Reyes. Another good left hand by Orozco. This is a good fight, Steve.
That right by Reyes a moment ago. If Orozco...
Another good right hand. I thought the referee was going to call. The referee did call an 8 count, Steve. Now this is done for the protection of the fighter. The other fighter has to go to a neutral corner. We'll give him an 8 count, see if he's fit to continue, then let him continue.
And the official says yes.
Again, that only counts for just like a jab or just like the right hand. Now, Steve, a combination of knockdowns or 8 counts, standing 8 counts, 3 in 1 round will stop the fight. And there's the end of the first round.
And indeed, it was a dandy as you look in the corner of Lance Corporal Sergio Reyes from the U.S. Marines, 21-year-old, 5 feet 3 inches tall. And there's the opponent, battered a little bit, Antonio Orozco, 22 years of age. He's 5'7", married with 2 children. And Orozco, by the way, folks, hails from Muleshoe, Texas. So he is fighting in his home state, as is Reyes.
You know, Steve, that was a fairly closely contested round. I would have to give the slight edge to Reyes at this point. He seemed to be landing the harder shots. And one thing that he's doing real well is he's working very well to the body. And that may eventually wear down Orozco and make him easier to hit to the head as the fight wears on.
If you were Orozco's trainer, what would you be telling him right now?
I'd have him box because Sergio really is not using his jab and he's waiting to work himself in. I'd tell him to box from the outside and stick and move.
And we're ready for round 2 of the Bantamweight Division championship fight for the Armed Forces boxing title in the 119-pound class.
That was a good hook landed right there. Sergio didn't even bother to jab. Another right hand there. Now Russell came back with a nice left hand.
Reyes is finding the mark continually. Many of his punches to Orozco's head have been high, but they've still been effective.
Orozco's just waiting just a little bit, Steve. He's waiting, and that's a big mistake. He's just waiting a little bit. He's letting Sergio Reyes get off first.
What happened there?
Now, there was a slap there, and they called a caution on Reyes. You have to hit with the white part of the glove, Steve. You can't slap with the open part of the glove.
Reyes is just really performing so well. He looks sharp. As Martin said a moment ago, he started the first round looking a little cold, had not broken a sweat. But, boy, he's put it in 5th gear now.
I want you to take a look at something, Steve. Look at Reyes' eyes. He's got some amazing intensity in those eyes. He is focused and concentrating on the job at hand. Right there, good right hand.
Doesn't display a great deal of body movement, just comes right at
you. Good left hand by Orozco. Excuse me, Steve.
Whoa!
He just got himself off balance.
Would you call that a miss, Martin?
I would call that a miss, Steve.
Minute 40 left to go in round 2.
Now, Reyes' head went down a little too low, and the referee cautioned him for his head coming down too low.
Cannot drop his head below the opponent's belt line.
It's a nice little right hand. Now, you notice that Reyes really doesn't use that many jabs. He gets in there, and he doesn't quite load up. He throws good bombs, and he's landing some good punches there.
I'll say this for Orozco, he can absorb punishment.
Did you see that good body shot, Steve? Another good right hand by Reyes. Look at that intensity, Steve.
Oh,
Look at that
just the way he stalks, Martin. He just stalks the opponent, waits for his opening, and then unleashes.
Good hook. Orozco needs to get off first. Orozco's waiting too much.
Well, Reyes tagged him with about 3 straight left hooks.
Orozco's doing some good work in there. Another good left hand by Orozco. And Reyes comes right back to the body.
What about Orozco's defense here?
Right now, he's letting Seger get off first, and Seger's finding the chinks in his armor. His hands are up nice and high, but he's not moving his head enough. Right there, he just got hit with 2 real good shots and another right hand. He's going to get an 8 count here pretty quick if he takes too many more of those. The referee's looking at him very carefully.
Orozco still wanting to fight, still game. Took a couple of hard right hands from Reyes. He shook his head like didn't affect me, but
there's another
did. There's another one just like it. We are in round 2. Again, in round 1, a standing 8 count. Reyes connecting with a good combination on Orozco. Orozco taking the standing 8. Boy, his head snapped back there as Reyes hits him again.
Orozco just came back with a nice left hand and drove Reyes back. That's something you very rarely will see, and he just did it again.
Well, the Army crowd getting a little excited there as round 2 ends. Tell you what, Antonio Orozco has earned the respect of Sergio Reyes, and in fact, this entire crowd here at Kelly Air Force Base. Let's listen in to the Reyes corner.
Going one. Double them up a little bit, okay? Double them up. Give some what, sir? You want to double them up, all right? Okay. Now look at him real good. Keep them hands up. When we punch, okay, just listen to me. When we punch, you want to get out of there a little bit, okay? Don't stare in there and catch him.
Come out with safe.
Huh? Excuse me?
Come out with straight punches?
Right. Straight punches, right. Straight punches. All right? All right, let's stand up. Let's get up.
That was Roosevelt Sanders we heard from the majority of time. Martin, in layman's terms, what's he telling Reyes?
When he's telling him to double up, he's telling him to get 2 lefts up there first before he lands the right hand. And what that'll do is that'll get him looking for the left hand so he can drop the right hand on it, which is real good sound advice. He's going to have to out-hustle him, too, this round, because even though I feel he's ahead on the card, you can't leave it up to the officials. You have to go in there and do the best you can for each and every round. Now, there's that right hand landing again.
And Reyes doubling up right there, as his trainers told him to do.
Orozco just landed a nice uppercut. Reyes came right back with a good, solid left hand and a good right hand behind that.
Boy, these guys are just really going at it. Trading punches. Is a good left by Reyes again. Orozco backs up for a moment, but then tries to come forward again. Boy, Orozco can just flat take shots, folks. Doing the Army proud with the way he's stood in here tonight with this outstanding boxer with over 300 amateur fights.
Well, I'm really impressed, Steve, right now with the amount of focus that Reyes is showing. He is just intent on one thing and one thing only. That's winning this fight. And he's doing what he has to do in there right now.
Again, we are in the 3rd round. Orozco took a standing 8 in round 1.
I'll tell you what, though, Orozco is fighting back. He is game. He's definitely game.
And Reyes, he's savvy enough. He's not going to do anything stupid. He's not going to get wild and try for a knockout for knockout's sake, or for a referee stops contest for referee stops contest's sake. He wants to win this any way he can, whether it's on points.
A beautiful 4-punch combination, Steve. Reyes just landed a beautiful 4-punch combination. A nice uppercut there. But look at Orozco. He's still in there. He's still punching. He's trying. He's got a lot of pride, a lot of gameness in that kid.
Both of these fighters in outstanding shape, too. They've been going at it like this from the opening bell.
I believe he's going to count. Yes, he's giving another 8 count. He's just taking too many right hands, Steve. That's for his own safety. And although the fans may not like it, the referee is the man that he's in the ring. He doesn't want these kids to get hurt.
Second standing 8 count taken in this fight by Orozco. Less than a minute left in this outstanding bantamweight.
Another good right hand. Reyes has found a home for that right hand, Steve.
Reyes jumping after him again, going right into him. And Orozco backing up but keeping those arms up.
Another good right hand there, and Orozco's still fighting back, Steve.
Orozco had a good left, too, for a moment to back Reyes up. Well, you can hear the grunts in the ring as every time Reyes throws a punch, he puts every ounce of strength he has behind it.
The referee just gave a little caution to Orozco for holding. And that's the end of the fight, Steve.
Well, Martin, I would presume that Orozco, knowing he was up against such an outstanding champion, must feel pretty good about his performance here tonight. As the saying goes, he took a licking but kept on ticking.
Matter of fact, he lasted the distance, and there in the second round, he took a series of punches. The referee didn't call an 8 count, which I thought he may have done it. He took some real good punches. He did keep coming. He was still doing some effective punching, but Reyes was just a little too much for him, Steve. Just a little too much for him.
Reyes being somewhat the shorter fighter, I was, in my mind, thinking we might see Reyes do a little more uppercutting, getting in close, but Reyes just kind of unloads from both sides. It looks to me like he has the potential to hurt you with either hand.
It looked like it, Steve. Also, he was he's usually aggressive, and he was extremely so today. But the main thing he was doing, the thing that was, I think, getting him off to beating Orozco to the punches, that Orozco just happened to be waiting, and just Reyes took advantage of it and got off first.
I think part of that may have been the fact that in the first round, he really was hurt in the first round and maybe just never completely shook loose of the cobwebs.
That could have been it. Also, I believe it also took Reyes a little bit of time to warm up, too. And he did come in pretty cold. There wasn't any sweat on his body, but he sure got warmed up by the end of that round.
All right, let's throw it up to the announcer for the winner.
No surprise there, Steve.
And the U.S. Marines are on the board, as it were, with that young man, Sergio Reyes. A native of Fort Worth, Texas, boxing out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, wants one day to become a world professional champion. And the Marines are backing him all the way. But I will say this, the Army's Antonio Orozco has nothing to be ashamed of. Fought a very good fight.
Steve, he will be back. That kid shows a lot of potential. I think a little bit more training. He doesn't have quite the experience that Sergio Reyes had, but yeah, he will be back.
So we have a winner in the flyweight division, Sergeant Byron Moore from the Army, and in the bantamweight division, Lance Corporal Sergio Reyes of the U.S. Marines. And now we're ready for the featherweights, 125-pound class, featuring from the U.S. Navy, Julian Wheeler, 19-year-old. He's in the red corner from Waltel, Louisiana. And there is the Army, represented by Specialist Nato Garcia. He, too, is a native of Dallas, Texas. And he is a fighter that our own expert, Martin Ortiz, knows a lot about.
Yes, Steve, he's been around for quite a while. He fought as a bantamweight before he became a soldier. And he fought in the name of Jay Garcia then, which I think may be a nickname. And he's a tough kid that he's the same way as Sergio Reyes is. You won't see him taking too many back steps.
Nato Garcia is 23. His opponent, Wheeler, is 19. And as we get things underway with round one, remember now, Garcia is a guy to look for. A lot of experience. He's had over 200 fights, 190 victories, 24 losses. As we get things underway, Wheeler has a pretty good jab, keeping Garcia at bay right now.
Wheeler's showing a very good jab. He's a tall fighter, and if I recall from Jay's previous fights, that's the kind of fighters that give him trouble. He's moving very well. I'm talking about the Navy fighter right now. He's moving very well, and that kind of fighter can frustrate a banger like Garcia.
Garcia just got off a body shot to the ribcage that I know had to hurt a little bit. But again, Wheeler keeping him at bay with that strong left jab. Garcia 3 inches shorter. Wheeler is 5'8". Again, he's in the blue from the Navy. Garcia in the gold, representing the U.S. Army. Round one, about a minute old.
Well, that lateral movement of Wheeler's, you can tell it's already starting to frustrate Garcia. He moves very well, Wheeler does. Moves very well. Look at that excellent jab, Steve.
Made Garcia miss a wild left hook a moment ago. Question is, can Wheeler keep that left hook out there, left jab out there, and keep Garcia at bay? Whoa! Good right hand by Wheeler. Garcia trying to come back.
Now, one mistake that Garcia's making right now, Steve, is he's not cutting off the ring on Wheeler. He should be cutting the ring off on him.
Well, again, there's another miss. This time, Wheeler's the guy who's throwing those long lefts. Finally connects again.
Again, Steve, you notice that when Wheeler moves around, Garcia chases him. Our referee just gave him a caution for using his shoulder. But again, as you notice that, Garcia's chasing him and chasing him around the ring. He should be cutting off the ring and shortening the distance with his jab and then working as soon as he shortens the distance. Instead, he's chasing him.
Wheeler's good at setting himself. He moves backwards, but then he'll plant those feet, set himself, and get off some pretty good shots, like right there.
Well, he's utilizing all of this ring, Steve. This looks to be like a 24-foot ring, and it's probably 22 inches inside those 22 feet, excuse me, inside the ropes. And he's using every bit of that rope now. That's an excellent counterpunch right there.
Garcia, obviously a little frustrated here early on. That's a slip. Just a slip. No punch was thrown. Less than 30 seconds remaining in round one. Julian Wheeler from the Navy in the dark blue, and from the Army, Nato Garcia. He's in the goal.
Well, right now, Steve, Wheeler's giving Garcia a boxing lesson. And again, the Jays always had problems with those kind of fighters. And right now, it looks like he's cutting the ring off a little better, but still no. If Wheeler can continue to move like that, he may very well pull this one out.
I was impressed just a moment ago there, Martin, in how Wheeler used the ropes effectively. Now, it was my understanding that in amateur boxing, Olympic-style rules, you're not allowed to use the ropes like that.
Right hand, put two together, okay?
All right, let's go now to the red corner and listen in as Julian Wheeler is being talked to.
Put the jab through, step it in, put two punches together, okay?
Mix up the way you're going to. You're only going one way. You're going right here. You're going clockwise all the time. Go back the other way. You're pretty good that way, okay?
Mr. Bill Ross, who calls the Air Force
Step in behind the right hand, behind the jab, okay?
to 19.
Step over there and rip that sucker under that guy. Bam, bam.
That's
You know what I mean?
Bill Ross.
Well, I think his trainers, Martin, are very pleased with what they've seen through the first round.
Yes, Steve, and to give him good advice, they don't want him banging with him. They want him to go ahead and box, to use the jab and come with the right hand afterwards. And that's what he needs to do to pull this win out. And right now, I would give the first round a slight edge to Wheeler from the Navy.
Now, what about Garcia here? What does he need to change?
The first thing he needs to do, Steve, is he needs to cut off that ring and get in underneath that jab. And as soon as he gets underneath that jab, he has to work to the body and go back to the head. But the first thing he has to do, and what he's not doing, is to cut off that ring. He's chasing him all over the place.
Again, Wheeler continuing to move to his left. They start to mix it up a little bit, but Wheeler again avoids any trouble. Wheeler still being aggressive enough. One thing about amateur boxing, you don't want to get too cute. That official will jump right in there. In amateur boxing, they want fighting.
The Jay's looking to load up, Steve, right now. He's not using his jab. He's not working in. What he's doing is he's fighting Wheeler's fight. And Wheeler is just landing the punches. He's collecting the points, Steve.
Wheeler again coming inside on the smaller Garcia and being fairly effective and then dancing out of trouble again. Julian Weaver.
Excuse me, Steve. Garcia's landing an occasional punch, but what he's doing right now is it's not enough work. He's being out-hustled by Wheeler. Wheeler is out-hustling him right now.
Another warning on Wheeler for extending the elbows. Now he goes into the ropes. Finally, we see a good shot by Garcia. There's a left under the chin, and now he comes back with another left. A couple of good shots on Wheeler. Wheeler's falling into that defensive posture in the ropes again, now countering effectively off of it. But Garcia gets off another pair of punches. Not real effective, but they count as points.
Well, that was Garcia's fight right there, Steve. When he has a stationary target, when somebody stand and fight with him, Garcia's very effective, and he does throw some good, heavy shots. That was was a beautiful move by Wheeler right there, Steve.
Boy,
beautiful move.
You're right, Martin. He has great foot speed, yet sets himself so well for the punches.
Outstanding lateral movement, Steve. Just outstanding.
A lot of young fighters, Martin, don't they, when they try to move like that, don't set themselves for the punch, and thus are not very effective.
Steve, did you see that beautiful combination off his toes?
It was indeed.
If he can keep this up for the rest of the fight, he's going to get a decision. But that's what he doesn't want to do. Right there, what he's doing. Garcia likes it right there, although he's fighting effectively off the ropes.
Wheeler continuing to go for the face of Garcia. Not the hardest punches in the world, but enough rat-a-tat-tats to add up the points on the official scorecards. Garcia trying to come back. Again, we are in round 2. This is the featherweight, 125-pound class. Julian Wheeler of the Navy against Nato J. Garcia of the Army.
Oh, Steve, that was a beautiful combination. Wheeler just landed off the ropes. He works those ropes very well.
Very impressed with this Julian Wheeler as we end round 2. Martin, I know Garcia's corner and Garcia himself must be frustrated because, as you said, with Wheeler being so adept at moving, Garcia can't get in and land any ball.
That's right. Every time Garcia gets set and gets Wheeler to stand stationary, he's able to land some of his combinations. But Wheeler's so slippery in there that Garcia, you can tell he's getting frustrated.
You got him slowing down, Nato. He's slowing down. You're going to get a point right now. Hey, keep right on it. He can't take the pressure. Dig it to the body, coming to the head. Dig it to the body, coming to the head. This is your game. This is your game. He want to fight with you. That's your show.
All right, let's talk about what happened toward the end of that last round where Garcia had Wheeler against the ropes and Wheeler again was effective.
Okay, again, here we have Garcia with Wheeler against the ropes. Now, here usually is where Garcia is effective. Unfortunately, at this point, it looks like Wheeler's landing some good combinations off the ropes.
Here we go, third and final round, back to live action. Wheeler and Garcia, close fight, no question about it. Our own boxing expert, Martin Ortiz, though, believes Wheeler has the advantage right now.
Again, Steve, Garcia is chasing him instead of cutting off the ring. It's a very easy thing to cut off the ring. All he has to do is imagine an imaginary point in the middle of the ring and keep his back to that imaginary point and then put his opponent between that imaginary point and the ropes. And then he shortens the distance by using the jab.
2 quick punches by Wheeler kept Garcia from coming in on the ropes there. That one caught, that left caught most of Garcia's glove, actually. I guess Wheeler's just letting Garcia push him into the ropes, and then Wheeler comes up with all these great counter punches.
Oh, nice combination there by Wheeler there, Steve. And a good counter by Garcia.
Garcia certainly not ready to call it quits. Wheeler changed tactics, led with a right there for a moment.
Wheeler seems to be slowing down just a little bit, Steve.
He's been doing a lot of moving, no question about that. Took a left to the face, did Wheeler. But now, it's Garcia. About a minute and a half left in this featherweight Armed Forces Boxing Championship match. Oh, another good shot by Wheeler. And back popped the head of Garcia. And again.
He's throwing some beautiful combinations, Steve. Wheeler's just a very good boxer. This is what the Olympic Committee looks for, in a boxer to go to the Olympics. This is pure Olympic boxing at its best. He's moving very well. He's throwing good combinations, scoring points. He's throwing some beautiful combinations. Even on the inside fighting Garcia's fight, he's beating him in his own game.
Wheeler has just been tattooing Garcia like that. 2 more quick punches and is just rolling up the points. Garcia looks absolutely worn out from all the shots he's been taking. And Wheeler has seldom gone to the body. These have been mostly headshots, all 3 rounds. Well, Martin, I guess you're not going to have any trouble scoring this one, are you?
Well, right now, I would just say that Wheeler is just running away with this fight. He's just plain flat giving Jay a boxing lesson. Beautiful uppercut he just landed there, Steve. And another one. He's found a home for that uppercut.
Well, the Navy crowd here at Kelly Air Force Base, pleased at what they've seen so far. And we're now under 10 seconds as Garcia takes a right uppercut to the chin. And now he looks completely out of it.
Give him an 8 count, Steve.
Gonna have to. I mean, Garcia had, well, he was cross-eyed. And they'll let him finish up. And I think that Julian Wheeler proved that he's got a future in boxing if he wants one.
Well, Steve, I was really impressed by Wheeler's movements there. I was impressed with the quickness of his hands. I've known Jay Garcia for a long time as well, and he gave him a boxing lesson. Wheeler just plain flat outboxed him. It was just a beautiful show, a beautiful show.
There's Garcia, obviously disappointed, knows he did not perform well tonight, never had a chance to get in. Wheeler kept him at bay throughout. And I guess the thing for us to do right now is just show you vintage Julian Wheeler.
Oh, let's look at this, Steve. There's a nice little right hand. Another little left. Another right hand. Now Garcia landed a little punch there, Steve.
Wheeler just amazes me with how he follows through all of his
look at
punches.
that uppercut, Steve.
And basically right there, folks, is what we saw for 3 rounds. Garcia getting tagged and Wheeler doing the tagging. Let's go up to the ring for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the red corner, Julian Wheeler.
As expected, Julian Weaver the winner, and Martin, you're now 2 for 2 in picking the winners.
Well, Steve, he just plain flat out boxed him. It was just a beautiful display of boxing skill. He was using the ring well. This is a large ring, Steve. This is not a puncher's ring. This is a boxer's ring, and he took full advantage of it.
Preparing to step up in class to the light welterweight division. That's the 139-pound class, where we'll have a representative from the Army and the Air Force. Airman Larry Wheeler, 6 feet tall, 23 years of age, from Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. He's in the blue corner. There's a look at him. Fighting in the town where he works his trade. And there's Patrick Washington. He's a little shorter than his counterpart from the Air Force. Washington is 22 years of age, works out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He says he's career Army all the way, wants to be a mechanic, has had plenty of amateur fights. He has a 117-17 record. So Washington, the more experienced of the two, as we get underway.
Once again, Steve, another southpaw. Now, Steve, I've been watching Wheeler for many years now, and he is a pretty good boxer. But every once in a while, he gets into these slugfests, and he doesn't do bad because he can land a pretty good punch and he can take a pretty good punch.
Wheeler again in the white, representing the Air Force. Patrick Washington in the yellow, or gold, representing the U.S. Army. Oh, these guys going at it. There was a good left thrown by Wheeler. And Washington countered with a good right hand of his own. Because Washington is so much shorter, will he try to get inside, work the body?
That's exactly what he's trying to do, Steve.
And for the shorter fighter, I guess that's the most effective way to fight someone a lot taller than you.
It really is. Trying to stand up straight, it takes away your leverage and your power. So you want to get down low so you can utilize your power. Right now, he's trying to bully Wheeler around and muscle him around. He's trying to intimidate him. I don't believe Wheeler will have anything to do with that.
Wheeler has not shown that effective left jab as of yet. He's kind of tentatively pawing it out there, and in doing so, allowing Washington to get inside.
Referee just cautioned Wheeler for holding.
Good left by Washington as Wheeler was backing up. Now Wheeler comes up with a good left of his own.
That was a nice left hook, Steve.
That's a slip. Washington nearly going down from a slip.
The referee also gave Washington the caution for using his shoulder. It's good right hand by Wheeler.
Well, you heard that one all over the gymnasium, but Wheeler, or rather Washington, just took the shot and kept on coming. Wheeler again trying to unload some big punches. Washington again effectively connecting inside.
Washington appears to be loading up, Steve. He's putting a home run into every punch he throws. And Wheeler's getting sucked into doing the same thing. Wheeler wants to bang away. Now, Wheeler is a good boxer. He shouldn't be in there banging.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. These two guys are unloading on each other, no question about that. And if it does go to a third round and these guys continue at this pace, you wonder how much conditioning will play a part in this fight. It may play a tremendous part in this bout. In fact, to be honest, both look a little bit tired here at the end of round one.
If you notice, every time that Washington gets Wheeler into the ropes, he just puts his body into him. That means Wheeler has to hold up not only his weight, but his opponent's as well. This could be a very sly tactic to tire him out.
Well, the bell rang, and round one is history. Martin, that was, boy, that was a difficult one to pick if you're one of the ringside judges.
Ooh, that's a judge's nightmare, Steve. I'm glad I'm not judging this fight.
As we take a look at Wheeler, let's go inside the ring and see what his trainer has to say.
But you're not hitting him because you're aiming at the head. Aim at the chest, right up here, and you'll catch him, you understand? You are not using your jab at all. Okay, you're moving good, but you're sticking in the rope. Stay in the middle of the ring and just play him like a bullfighter. You tab, and then you hit. You understand? Stay away from the rope. Go ahead. Aim at the chest. Right hand is there.
Wheeler unloaded the best punch of the fight, but Washington didn't seem affected at all. Let's watch it.
Oh, that was a pretty right hand, Steve. Washington took a half a step back and came right back at him.
Put his whole body into it. Round two underway.
Now, Osmar Alaniz was giving Wheeler some excellent advice in the corner. He told him to jab, then hit him, and stay in the middle of the ring and don't go to the ropes. What Wheeler has to do to win this fight is to outbox this guy. Washington is a bull, and Wheeler must be a bullfighter. Now he's boxing. Now he's doing well.
Now they're mixing it up again. Wheeler really not having an opportunity to back up as Washington is all over it. Wheeler representing the Air Force in the white. Washington in the gold representing the Army. This is round two.
You know, Wheeler's landed a couple of nice right hands on Washington, and they have not fazed him at all. He just did it again, and Washington is right there in his face.
Wheeler must be wondering what do you have to do to get this guy away from you. Referee ordering break again here for the second time in this second round as these two guys have really gone at it inside. This is the light welterweight division. Did I see a behind-the-back punch?
Yes, you did, Steve.
I didn't think that was legal.
You know, Washington's still loading up with every punch. If he'd work off a jab a little more and push Wheeler back with the jab, he'd probably be a lot more effective. As it is right now, he's getting slightly outpointed. And I say slightly because he is landing some good shots himself. He's getting slightly outpointed when Wheeler uses his boxing skills.
Wheeler slowing down a little bit here. I'm sure Washington has had a lot to do with that. Washington appearing to be in terrific condition.
There's a nice body shot there by Washington.
Yes, it was, and backed Wheeler up, in fact. Less than a minute to go here in the second round.
Another good right hand by Wheeler there, and Washington shook it off and kept coming.
These are light welterweights, 139-pound class. Wheeler Wheeler tried to unload with that left there. Washington easily avoided it.
Right now, they're both showing a lot of signs of fatigue, Steve. They're both extremely tired, but there's no quitting either one of them.
Oh, they really went at it there. I thought Wheeler may have slipped. And the official apparently did too, because he didn't stop it to give him the standing 8 count. Boy, at the end of this round, it's going to be very interesting to see what they say in Patrick Washington's corner, because I think he had a very good round.
I think he did too, Steve. He was doing some excellent work to the body and was landing some pretty good-sized bombs on Wheeler.
All right, let's eavesdrop.
You know, apparently they have some kind of a secret weapon.
I was going to say, your best laid plans go awry. We forgot to bring our whisper catching microphone. I'll tell you what we can do, though, is show you that terrific exchange at the end of this second round.
Nice punches, nice punches. Both of them landing nice heavy shots. And you know what? I believe that Washington has just a little bit heavier hand than Wheeler does.
And now we're ready for the third and final round. Back to live action here, Kelly Air Force Base, San Antonio, Texas. I'm Steve Fallon, along with boxing expert Martin Ortiz. Glad you're with us. Light welterweight class, 139-pound division.
Steve, right now I would say this is a pick'em fight. The guy that wins this third round will more than likely win the fight. It's out there to be had. All they got to do is go after it.
Washington in the gold, Wheeler in the white. Wheeler, the taller of the two, taking that body shot right there from Washington. And then the head shot as he was backed up, trying to come back. Still pulling with that left hand. A guy that tall, Wheeler, that size advantage, ought to be taking that left hand and just sticking it out there. He's not doing it.
No, he should be snapping it, Steve. He's just laying it out there. And Washington takes such a good shot, he's going to walk right through it and start landing his own bombs.
Now the Kelly Air Force Base crowd yelling Air Force in the background, trying to urge Larry Wheeler on, perhaps sensing that he's behind, headed into this third and final round, of which there are about 2 minutes left.
He was just cautioned for holding him and pulling him down. I believe Washington's making a big mistake, Steve. He's not being as aggressive as he was earlier, and that could cost him the fight. He has to go right after Wheeler. He has to show the judges that he wants the fight.
Especially since Wheeler had shown indications of being tired. We already seeing opening his mouth, dropping the mouthpiece open, so we know he's tiring.
There's a strong possibility Washington's tired as well, Stevie. He has tendency to lock his front leg occasionally, like right there.
Yep. Wheeler trying to hook.
Oh, that was good combination.
Wheeler coming back with a couple of great shots. Now Washington trying to rebound.
Steve, this is a very close fight. The judges really have the work cut out for them for this fight. One of these young men has to do something really outstanding to get the nod, I believe. This is a very close fight.
I didn't catch what that warning was.
The referee cautioned him for pulling his head down and hitting.
The light left by Wheeler. Now tries a combination. And as Martin said, Washington just not taking advantage, the advantage he had earlier. Just resting, not forcing the issue. The round is about to close, less than 30 seconds.
They should both be in there working for all it's worth, Steve.
Patrick Washington and Larry Wheeler. The bell rang, they're still going at it. I don't think the official heard the bell. Now he does. Now he hears the bell and sends each fighter back to their corners. And a good hand from this crowd at Kelly Air Force Base, obviously hoping that their man, Airman Larry Wheeler, will get the decision.
It was a close fight, Steve. I really don't know if I could call a winner. Try to be objective as I can. That was as close to a draw as I could possibly see. But if I had to give an edge, I think the crisper punches, the better boxing abilities were on Wheeler's side. And if I had to pick them, I'd pick Wheeler.
And there's Wheeler. I'll disagree. I'll say Washington. Don't ask me why. I guess mainly because I was so impressed with the way he took that shot in the round one. But, you know, Martin, with you and I disagreeing, it just goes to show you this is a pick-em fight, and here's one of the reasons why.
Absolutely, Steve. This is, like I said, very, very slight edge if I had to give any at all to Wheeler. Look at these young men. Both of them landing well, both of them giving and taking equally well. This was a good fight. Either way this decision goes, I don't believe the fans will be happy.
Patrick Washington, Larry Wheeler. Let's go to ringside and see who won this light welterweight fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner.
I'm sure, Steve, it was a very close fight.
Well, the Air Force finally gets on the board. A very dejected Patrick Washington. I guess that's what I get for picking against the expert, as General Smith prepares to give Wheeler his gold medal. Happy youngster is the United States Armed Forces boxing champion in the light welterweight division. Was he a happy man or what when he got that call?
I believe he was glad, Steve.
That leap measured probably 9.5. The crowd again loving it. Next fight on the card, we get up to the welterweights. That's the 147-pound class. And we have a couple of really good fighters in this one. Petty Officer Third Class James Young against Airman First Class Randolph Callender.
Representing the United States Air Force.
And of course, Callender from Kelly Air Force Base as well. And therefore, he's getting a big hand from this partisan crowd. That's the opponent, Petty Officer Third Class James Young. His record is 80 wins, 7 losses. He's 5'9", 24 years of age, hails from Malta, Montana. So both are 24 years of age, both are 5'9". Young, of course, from the Navy, and Callender from the Air Force. The Air Force picking up its first victory of the night in that last fight, the light welterweight bout. Here are the intense-looking eyes of James Young and Randolph Callender. Here we go. Round one, welterweight division.
I see something very, very significant right now, Steve. Young is using a jab. He's using the jab to work his way in.
Callender trying to counterpunch as effectively as possible. Young being the aggressor here earlier on, but Callender coming up with a couple of real good shots by countering.
Callender tagged him very well, Steve.
Good foot movement there by Callender. And a good right hand. Young partially avoided it. Oh, there's a good left. That backed up Young for a moment. Young trying to come on again. These guys are definitely battling. There's a good right hand by Young. Another good right. Both of these guys have shown instances of brilliance here early on. You know, Mark, looking at these punches, most of them scoring
Most
punches.
of them are scoring, Steve. Both of them are scoring a lot of punches. But I'll tell you what's really impressive right now is the fact that the Air Force fighter, Callender's moving so well in the ring. He's moving very well. He's making Young kind of lunge sometimes for his punches. Young is using a good jab, but he's coming straight in instead of giving angles. And because he's not giving angles, Callender's able to move side to side on him, as he did just then.
Now they choose to fight inside. Callender and Young really going at it here in the first round. Both countering effectively, both with pretty good defense right now. The action is slowed somewhat from what we saw at the opening bell. Now Young coming on with some body punches.
You know, Callender looks very relaxed in the ring in there. Very relaxed. He seems like he enjoys what he's doing. Just watch him. He's just relaxed in there. And he's using the ring very well, Steve. He's moving laterally very well.
Excellent foot movement. Callender will slip in, get off a few shots, back away.
Right, he's sticking to moving very well, and he's building up a series of points, I believe, that are going to be hard for Young to come up on unless Young starts getting a little more busy.
Both are very strong fighters. Now Young, or rather Callender, being warned about using the elbows.
Well, he was cautioned, Steve. A warning is usually a taking away of a point. You get 3 cautions, and on the 3rd caution, they give you a warning and take away a point.
Apologies, I want to correct myself there. It is a caution. And there's the end of round 1, and Martin, it was a doozy.
It was a good round, I believe, for Callender. He seemed to use the ring very well. He was jabbing well. He was throwing his punches in combination, and he was picking his times when he wanted to punch.
You're doing right. Keep your mouth closed now, okay? Keep your mouth closed when you get inside. Look, it'll be slipping, rolling. You're doing just right. But go all the way into the rope with you. Take them all the way into the rope. Okay? Take them all the way in. Stay there. And when the referee, the only time you jump back when the referee says give him 1 step. That's all. Otherwise, you stay there this time. I guarantee you won't even be around next round. Stay there.
When this fight got underway, there was no question about it. They started rumbling. Here's a good, close look.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
duck your head, Martin. You might get hit.
Both those men throwing some good punches there.
Back to live action round 2 of the welterweight class. 147-pounders. Cutting out the 3rd class, James Young, representing the Navy. He's wearing the dark blue, and Randolph Callender out of the U.S. Air Force with the white top and blue bottom.
Callender's just a little bit quicker, uses the ring a little better, and again, this is a boxer's ring, and Callender is obviously a boxer. I would classify Young as being more of a boxer puncher. He's trying to get in and do his damage. But Callender just moving very well, Steve.
Callender continuing to move. Just bouncing out of harm's way and then dashing in to do damage.
That was a good right hand just landed there by Young, Steve.
Young's been trying to get that right hand in there. Loads up on it, in fact. Maybe telegraphs it too often. But it's being pretty effective here.
That jab is working for him, Steve. And you notice something there? Callender's not moving as much.
His horse is slowing down. There's no question about it. Now he's holding a little bit.
Now. Referee's probably going to issue a caution. He did. Excellent officiating, Steve. The referees are doing a great job.
Now Young is continually finding Callender to be an easy target, scoring points. Callender now starting to fight back a little bit. But in amateur boxing, Martin, you don't want to allow the opposition to pile up points early on, do you?
No, you don't. Every time they land a blow, whether it hurts or not, whether it lands it's a jab or a right hand, doesn't make any difference. If you land enough of them, you're going to win. You don't have to hit like Ernie Shavers or Sonny Liston. All you have to do is land the white part of the glove. Young is definitely back in this fight, Steve.
Yeah, got off a good left, a right, and then another left. Now he tries an uppercut.
Callender is not moving like he should have.
Is Young going to have enough stamina to make the 3rd round, doing all this chasing and all that swinging of the fists?
Well, he's doing a pretty fair job of cutting off the ring. He just landed a couple of pretty good right hands, Steve. He's doing a good job of cutting off the ring and shortening the distance because Callender does have some excellent lateral movement. If he can continue to put the pressure on like this, he could pull it off because I have him winning this round easily.
Young's arm movements slowing down, looking like he's towering a little bit. Callender certainly has. Under 30 seconds to go in round 2. These guys are, of course, in the Armed Forces Boxing Championships. They are in excellent shape. Both had tough semifinals. And again, Young really unloading this entire second round and looks a little arm weary. But then, as I said a moment ago, so does Callender. Young still scoring, though.
Callender's not moving like he was, Steve. I think his gas tank is running close to empty.
Well, there's the end of round 2, and there is Randolph Callender, Airman First Class, U.S. Air Force, sitting down. And let's go inside the ring and see what his trainer says to him.
You're going to have to knock him out, or you're going to have to hurt him real bad. I know you're tired, but he's just as tired as you are, Randy. You understand? He's just as tired as you are. You've got to come back and beat this guy. All he's got a lot of pressure. He's putting in a lot of pressure. You understand? You've got to knock him out. You've got to stop this guy. Get going some flourish, get some jabs. Get going with both hands, Randy. You understand? Go ahead.
Now, Martin, if they're saying you have to get an official's ruling on the final here as we take a look at some of the action here in round 2. Young coming on, boxing very well. Callender backing off. Round 3 coming up. Do you believe the same thing, Martin, that it'll have to go to the judges if Callender is to win this fight? He's got to do it.
Well, he's going to have to try to stop it, Steve. There's no doubt about it. He's going to have to get busy because Young came on very strong that second round, did a lot of work, and the main thing he did is he took away Callender's lateral movement, and he's doing it now, Steve. He's putting pressure on him. He's putting a lot of pressure on him.
Callender again in the white tops, blue bottoms. You heard his trainer say you have to get an RSC, but it's Young who's going for it.
Young has just landed a beautiful series of punches and rocked him back on his heels. He's still doing it. He's still doing it, Steve. He's landing some, he's out hustling him.
Callender must feel like he's run into the proverbial buzzsaw because no matter what he does, he has Young in his face.
Young is not moving at all laterally, Steve. He's standing and fighting, and that's a big mistake when a guy throws a series of punches like Young does.
Oh, look at those punches being landed. I'm not sure that Callender can move anymore, Martin. He's just being peppered in the face.
He's worn down, Steve. Young has worn him down. And Young is just throwing much more punches, many more punches than he is, and they're all landing solidly.
Terrific performance being put on by James Young of the U.S. Navy right now. I guess at this point I would tend to agree with Callender's trainer. He's got to do something dramatic to win now.
Well, nice
another shot.
Punches. Young is landing that right hand at will, Steve.
Young just wheeling, moving constantly. This youngster's in terrific condition.
He is in excellent condition, Steve. He keeps punching. He's just a punching machine right now. Callender is pretty much a stationary target now, and Young is just punching away.
Callender has nothing left on his punches either.
Everything Young is throwing is just about landing now, Steve.
Callender's probably wondering where that bell is. Either that or he's hearing all kinds of bells right now because Young has just been popping him consistently. What a dominating third round by James Young.
Every punch is landing now, Steve. Every punch is landing. Callender's a stationary target. He's standing straight up. He is completely tired.
You know, Callender, here he is taking a hammering like that, but he's still on his feet.
He's on his feet, Steve.
Got to give him credit, too.
Oh, definitely. There's no give in any of these guys.
Young staggering back to his corner. Callender likewise. Crowd enjoyed this one. It was exciting.
I want you to look at Young right now, Steve. He is dead on his feet. He can barely stand. He has given everything he got. and he can barely stand.
Over there in Calendar's corner. Or over there in his own corner, I guess. Calendar making a go of it. And, you know, as you look at round 3, it was the same as round 2 and the same as the latter half of round 1. Young doing a great deal of damage, and Calendar tried to do the same.
There it is, Steve. Everything that Young was throwing was landing.
At this point in the fight, obviously the punches were not hard punches, but they were effective ones, and they came in numbers, came in droves, and that's what you want.
But one of the things judges look for, Steve, is effective aggression. You can be aggressive as heck, but if you're not effectively aggressive, you're not going to make any points. Young was extremely effective and extremely aggressive, and more than anything else, I believe that won the fight for him. That and his superb conditioning.
All right, let's go up ringside and get that decision.
Winner in the red corner,
no surprise there. The Navy picks up another victory here at the Armed Forces Boxing Championships. Earlier on in the featherweight class, Julian Wheeler, rather, had won a decision. And now they come back with James Young.
Thank you.
All right, we're ready to get it on with our next bout. Light middleweights, 156-pound class. Lance Corporal Robert Allen for the U.S. Marines against Specialist Mark Lanton of the U.S. Army. As we go to the blue corner first, you will notice immediately that Lanton has a lot of experience. He's out of New York, has had almost 90 fights. He is 80-9. He's fighting out of Fort Rucker, Alabama. That young man, Lance Corporal Robert Allen, from Terrebonne, Louisiana, fighting out of Camp Lejeune. Well, you get up into these higher weight classes, Martin Ortiz, and anything can happen.
That's right, Steve. These are the bigger fellas, and they pack a punch.
Robert Allen, in his first ever Armed Forces Boxing Championship, likewise his counterpart, Mark Lanton. Lanton in the gold, Allen in the red. And immediately Robert Allen going to work.
Allen's a southpaw, Steve. We've been seeing a lot of southpaws here today.
Allen's got that left hand just cocked like he wants to explode with it. Hasn't really thrown it yet. Lanton being very cautious. Of course, now he moved toward the left hand of the southpaw, which is not what you want your guy to do.
When you fight a southpaw, Steve, you want to keep your lead foot outside his lead foot and make him reach with his power hand so you can counter. He's not doing that right now. He's moving into his power.
Neither fighter has thrown anything significant as of yet. Kind of feeding each other out here in the early going of round 1. Allen looks very deliberate in his movements, Martin. He just takes these short steps and constantly moving forward.
He's stalking, Steve. He's stalking him very carefully.
Lanton, on the other hand, using as much lateral movement as he can to avoid what we are told is awfully strong punching power from Robert Allen. Still hadn't seen Allen throw that left hand, Martin.
Well, he threw it once early in the ring, Steve, and missed wildly, just like he did right there. He should be working more. He should be busy. Lanton has some good lateral movement. He needs to get busy as well. There was a nice left hand landed there. Another one. And another one.
Well, the punches are coming, but not in droves like they were in earlier fights. In fact, up until this point, this might have been the dullest action we've seen so far, but now it's picking up a little bit.
I think that Allen is finally finding his range, Steve.
That was a slip. A couple of good head shots by Allen. And gets Lanton on his bicycle again.
Some nice hooks by Allen there.
Well, he's double hooking with that hand, and it's really proven effective. There's another right hand shot by Lanton. Or check that by Allen. This is round one, light middleweights, 156-pound class. I think the referee'd like to see a little more action, too.
Well, Steve, it's a tribute to the referees here that you really hardly notice them. It just proves that they're doing a good job.
Again, Allen, you saw, getting a couple of right hands in on the left ear of Lanton. You know, something that we might have you do, Martin, is tell the folks, as round one comes to an end, we'll get you to do that in a moment. When we get the opportunity, you might tell the folks why they see the headgear on each and every one of these individuals who are fighting, as we look in the corner of Lance Corporal Robert Allen and listen in.
Force him the other way. Force him the other way. He's trying to come around this way. Force him. You're going to move that way. You're going to move that way. Am I right? Yeah, move to your right. He's trying to wear me down. Yeah, he's trying to. That's right. That's right. Deep breathe for me.
Never run now.
I want you to back his butt up, okay? Back his butt up. Deep breathe, deep breathe. One more time.
Allen, effective and wild. Is the best way to describe that first round.
He's definitely putting power behind every punch, Steve. He was given some good advice in the corner by his coach, Roosevelt Sanders. He said to move to your right. That's a natural way for a left-hander to move. That's what he needs to do.
All right, here we go for round two. Mark Lanton in the gold. He's fighting for the Army. Lance Corporal Robert Allen in the red, fighting for the U.S. Marine Corps.
I believe that was a slip, Steve.
Allen right there to come after him once he got up. You know, Allen is somewhat effective. He hasn't really had to fight a whole lot because Lanton isn't making him fight.
Exactly. Now, there's some nice jabs there. Not very many of them landed, but he's using the jab. He needs to be busy. Lanton needs to keep that jab working. Just like that. Now, he was told in this corner, and I'm talking about Allen, he was told to back his butt up. What he needs to do is to back the guy up, back him up in a straight line, and throw his combinations when he does.
Well, right now it's Lanton doing the stalking and Allen backing up. While we're watching the action in the ring, Mark, why don't you describe for our viewers why we see the headgears on?
But again, Steve, it goes right back to the safety of the boxer. These headgears are specially designed with 3 different types of closed cell foam to absorb the force of the blow. It doesn't mean that you don't get hurt. You can still get hurt in this game, but it does help somewhat. It is one more safety feature. And these headgears must comply with certain specifications as put down by the Amateur Boxing Federation.
And it is mandatory. You don't have the option of wearing it or not.
Absolutely, Steve. In the old days, back in the AAU days, it was optional. Nowadays, you have to wear them.
We're in round two, a little more than a minute remaining. This is the light middleweight 156-pound class. To your left, Mark Lanton from the Army, and to your right, Lance Corporal Robert Allen of the Marines.
Lanton's starting to land that jab, Steve. He's starting to be effective with the jab, but Allen is still landing the bigger shots, and he's landing just a few more punches. Well, Lanton's coming on now.
Allen trying to hold a little bit. In fact, he is holding, and I'm sure will.
And he got a second caution for holding, Steve. If he gets one more caution for that same infraction, he can lose a point.
You know, another thing we ought to do right here as we watch this fight, you might go over again the Olympic rules, how these fights are scored. It's not by the strength of the punch, but the effective punches, period.
Right. You have to land an effective punch. You have to land it with the white part of the knuckle. It has to land flush with the scoring part of the body. And the scoring part of the body is an imaginary line going across the ear, down the hip, down to the waistline. Anything in front of that imaginary line is fair game and legal scoring.
All right, there's the end of round 2 as we see Lanton take a seat.